Welcome to your StockPulse commodity brief for Thursday, October 31st. Today's brief brought to you by Global Energy Metals Corporation. They trade as GEMC on the Toronto Venture Exchange and GBLEF on the OTC in the States. Unimaginable entry-level opportunity to world-class energy metals. The electric car revolution is now. Global Energy Metals provides a low barrier to entry with known resources in mine-friendly jurisdictions. And again, they trade in the OTCQB in the States and the TSX Venture. Some equity news of interest. BTU Metals Corp, that's BTU on the Venture, as they increased their land position in Red Lake right next to Great Bear there, and also named a new VPX. Caught up with the president, Paul Wood. We ran through the details and how this positions BTU moving forward.
Yeah, well, we're very happy at BTU to have been able to expand our land position, bring us from 130,000 to almost 150 square kilometers in Red Lake. We are contiguous to about 60% of Great Bear Resources border, and we've got geological evidence, mag, and now some drilling results which suggest that the LP fault comes, or certainly that kind of rock structure comes over to our property. The new property we got is kind of further, it expands that out to the east and to the south, and we're interested and curious about the extension off to the east, which is closer north to where we've been drilling already, but also to the south. So I think there are two areas that we're really focused on, and we've got multiple targets on this very underexplored area. I think there were 20 drill holes in total on the property we had before due to all the overburden, and contiguous to where we're seeing some extraordinary numbers consistently out of Great Bear. So that's where we're going because of what we've been able to build. This is our fifth deal on properties in the area. In 13 months, we've been able to attract a stellar board with Vic Bradley, founder of Yamana and Exo-Cisco, or actually still part of a Cisco in their international area, Margot Naughty, ex-CPP, and Jean-Marc Lacoste, who runs a TSX listed company. So we've got excellent governance. We're getting tremendous support. We're upgrading our shareholder base, and this is a very exciting time for BTU.
And a new VPX here, I see. What's the plan moving forward here then, Paul?
Well, Bruce Durham is excellent. He was from the early days of Hemlo, and we're very, very lucky to have him on board. And he's given the keys to run this exploration program. He's quite excited about a number of areas. Right now we're focused up at the LP fault area where we're doing SGH sampling, which is what Great Bear's been using along the LP fault in order to hone in on drill targets, but also a little bit to the south, and that's where Teck drilled in the past, and we're just in the very early days of that, I think. So in total, we're on hole 17. I think the guys are setting that up right tomorrow morning, and early days in an incredible greenfield exploration program, which is so much potential, so many targets, but this is where we're focused now, those two areas.
In the news recently, Dunnedin Ventures, that's a DVI in the Toronto Venture Exchange, as they commenced drilling at the MPD Copper Gold Porphyry Project in southern British Columbia. Had a nice conversation with the president and CEO, Claudia Tornquist. Ran through the highlights of the news and how this positions the company moving forward.
We're very excited to get to work on the MPD project. Just to recap, MPD is in southern BC, right off the highway, so very good location, very cheap and efficient to explore. And we will continue on testing some zones that were already tested by the previous operator and have some very interesting results. The first zone we'll test is a gold zone, which in the past had 120 meters of almost a gram per ton of gold on top of 0.21% copper, so really interesting drill result. and we'll test that zone, that gold-rich zone further. And then the second set of drill holes will be testing a deep porphyry target, where the previous drill program, which the last drill holes that were drilled by a previous operator in 2013, ended on a real cliffhanger. They tagged a really interesting zone, mineralization zone at depth, where they got good copper grades, some gold byproducts on top, and the grades got deeper as they drilled deeper. And then they ran out of funds and couldn't follow up. And so that, of course, gives us a great starting point. We will be testing that zone that was hit already twice, 450 meters apart by a previous operator. And we will drill further and see what we can hit there.
And speaking of a cliffhanger, Claudia, what's the next set of news we'll be getting from Dunnedin?
We'll start with a shallow hole, and we expect to have the results for that. That's the gold-rich zone in December, so before the end of the year. And then step 2 will be to test for the deep porphyry potential, and those results will then come early in the new year.
Before I let you go here, Claudia, what are your thoughts on the copper market here moving forward?
Recent developments are very encouraging for the copper price. Unrest in Chile, good demand in China, deficit in the copper market. Everything, in my view, points to a better copper price going forward. So I'm very optimistic that we'll see a positive move in the copper market.
Some recent news for this one, McEwen Mining, that's MUX in the NYSE and TSX. A lot of news lately here from Gold Bar Mine and Q3. Caught up with the executive chairman, Rob McEwen, and we ran through the highlights of the latest news.
Today we had a conference call on results we put out earlier in the day about our third quarter. And really, the first 3 quarters of this year at our Black Fox and Gold Bar Mine have been not what we wanted. At our San Jose Mine and El Gallo Mine, they performed as planned. But Black Fox had some very unique one-off events that challenged us in the first 3 quarters. And Gold Bar, which is our newest mine, we started it up in May, and it was just a slow, unsteady start, but it's now on track and performing as it was designed to perform. And through that piece, countering all that is, we've been spending a lot on exploration last year and this year, and we've been putting out a stream of what I'd call good exploration news. We put out some on Monday, a new zone that we've encountered at our Timmins property, the Stock property, which is where our mill is. So it's very conveniently located to infrastructure to process it. But to give you the headlines, it was 6.7 grams over 39 meters, 5.6 grams over 30 meters, with including 9 grams of 13, and another 5.6 grams over 29 meters, with including 15 grams over 5. And this is in an area that had never been explored, and it appears to be a very different rock type than any of the other ones we've encountered in Timmins. And it's shallow at the moment. We're down about 400 meters on this, so it's quite shallow for the district. The ore is very homogeneous, and the grade seems well distributed across the intercept. So it's looking like if we can extend this zone, it would be something that's only located 200-300 meters from our underground development in a mine that could be reactivated quickly. So we're quite optimistic. There's something very interesting there. Tomorrow we'll have some more news out on exploration elsewhere in Timmins, which we're also excited about. And we've been exploring in Nevada around our Gold Bar property and being able to extend the mineralization envelopes there, and also bringing in what we call Gold Bar South. It'll come into our reserve picture at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. So it will lengthen the life of that mine. We've also, we're just about to complete a feasibility study on our Mexican property that contemplates a 10-year life there, beyond where it is today, and it'd be gold and then silver. And we've been advancing our Los Azules property, the copper project in Argentina. So to a point where we think we have a new access route that we're going to construct that will give us 12-month access rather than the current 4 or 5-month access. We have an agreement with the Argentinian and Chilean government to cross the border because we're right on the border. We've established routes to the Pacific, and with minimal contact with communities through there, and in that we wouldn't be disturbing the communities, which is all quite positive when you're developing a big mineral deposit. So I'd say, and we're looking to extend. We took out some debt, 3-year debt in August of 18, and we're looking to see if we can refinance that at the moment, extend the term, and drop the interest rate. So that's positive. 13 million in working capital, and we're driving ahead. We think next year we'll do about 200,000 ounces. Gold bar will be on stream. We're going to cut back production at Black Fox in order to facilitate an aggressive exploration program underground there. We think there's great potential on the west side of the mine, where we've encountered multiple intercepts of double-digit grams per ton and a few triple-digit grams per ton, like better than 300 grams per ton over intercepts of 3 meters in that. So Black Fox is a nuggety type ore body, so you have to be much more selective in your location of it, identifying where it is, but then more importantly, how you take it out of the ground. And in the past, they've been using more bulk mining methods that I think have frustrated the economics of the mine. So that's going along. Gold bar's there. Argentina's performing.
Hey, Rob, before I let you go, of course, I need your opinion on gold. It looks like we seem to be dancing around this 1,500 level. I got to believe you're probably pretty inspired and happy with this level for the yellow metal here.
We're building a good base in and around the $1,500 mark, and it's getting poised to move. Every day goes by, and there seems to be another negative interest rate bond issued by a government. You're looking at money supply, people starting to expand again. Certain sectors of the economy are pretty red hot, reaching levels where they're, in the past, they've tended to stall or correct. And people moving back into hard assets, seeing more generalists. You don't see a large number, but in terms of relative interest, the generalists are starting to look at gold again, looking at hard assets and saying, maybe we should add some of this. This is a pretty depressed sector. It looks cheap, and at certain times in the market cycle, such as where we are today, it's a good time to have some gold in your portfolio.
Allianz Minerals in the news recently as they identify new targets and expand Horse Thief Gold Project in Nevada. Caught up with President and CEO Jason Weber. We ran through the details of the latest news and how this positions Alianza moving forward into next year.
Yeah, the release today was just a summary of the fieldwork we did this summer up at the Horse Thief Project. Really, it was a lot of mapping focused on getting a good handle on the stratigraphy that we have at the property, really trying to use or define what age these rocks are. And that's important because as we explore these things and we see certain ages where these gold deposits are more likely to form, we can draw analogies to other deposits in Nevada. And at Horse Thief, it's come together quite nicely. We've got Cambrian and Ordovician rocks, and right at that contact between those two ages is where Long Canyon sits. And Long Canyon is a significant new mine that Newmont purchased in the development stage from Frontier Development a few years back. And that's important because that deposit was found off trend. It was not on one of the sort of the tried and true trends in Nevada. It was located further to the east, and that really opened up sort of the exploration potential, looking for these deposits elsewhere in Nevada. So that's a great key to the story for us. We're also seeing various different styles of alteration at that level. We're seeing, or at that age, and we're seeing different styles of, for example, jasperoid alteration, where we're seeing it in breccias, we're seeing it replace individual beds. So really exciting. We feel we have a system here that's probably fairly long-lived. It's come up through a good package, a good sequence of the carbonate rock. So we feel that there's a lot of room to host a gold deposit such as Long Canyon at Horsesea.
So accumulate the data, put a game plan together for 2020, and start drilling again next year. Is that kind of the plan?
Well, I guess the one thing is we did expand the project, the property size out to the east and to the south. So one of the things we want to do there is some IP to some geophysics to assess that area. A lot of volcanic cover out there. We see windows of the carbonate rocks that we're interested in that they underlie the volcanic. So wherever they can outcrop, we see them. We're able to categorize them, map them, take some samples. We're getting gold numbers out that way. Now we want to do some geophysics, and we're trying to get that done before the end of the year to just tie that back into the rest of the property. And that really just sets us up for next year for drilling. So we're looking now to sort of prioritizing these 5 different areas that we're looking at, and where we're going to put our first drill holes. But we're looking at a 2,500 meter program sort of on the docket right now for as early as we can get in 2020.
Yeah, so that's one project. So that's a good update there. What, as far as what else you're doing there, what can investors keep their eye on for Alianza?
Yeah, we still have results from our last 2 drill holes at our Haldane Silver project. That's a high-grade silver project in the Keno Hill district in the Yukon Territory. We drilled 4 holes. We recently announced 2 holes with the discovery of a new vein target there, so that was really exciting. And now we have 2 holes to go to be released that are targeting the sort of the main area of mineralization that the old timers dating back to the 1920s were exploring. So that's upcoming. We have results from our KRL high-grade gold project in BC to come out yet, and some of the advancements we made there with our ground mapping program we conducted this year. And then we have our other 2 Nevada projects with our partner Hochschild that we'll be releasing results from as well in the next few weeks.
Okay, Jason Weber, CEO, Allianz Minerals, ANZ on the venture, TARSF, OTC in the States. Appreciate the update, Jason. Look forward to catching up when you have more news.
All right, thank you.
More good news coming out of Great Bear Resources, GBR in the venture from the Dixie project. 3 new discoveries, Yarrow Zone highlighting things on the LP Fault Zone. Caught up with the president and CEO Chris Taylor, ran through the importance of this news as the stock was halted and is back trading again.
Effectively, this one is the biggest near-surface high-grade discovery on the property to date. So that's really what's exciting, is that we have this big LP fault target. It's nearly 20 kilometers long, and now drilling along this, we're starting to find very high-grade gold, big intervals of it going right to surface. So it's the largest discovery that we've seen at the Dixie property, and the significance for long-term development on the project is really it's really very high.
Yeah, it seems to be there's a lot of gold in a lot of places. How does it all hang together?
Very well. Like, we've had every hole that we've drilled along that LP fault for 4 kilometers now has gold in it without fail. So there's like 50 holes that have gone along it, and none of them have missed. And I've never heard of that over such a big scale. Even in the best deposits globally, there's kind of dead spots. Here we just keep hitting. So it's really, you almost sit here shaking your head. Just the fact that this is only a few meters below a thin layer of gravel, and it was just waiting to be found all these years, right beside the highway.
Wow. So as you compile the data, I mean, what's this telling you right now? I mean, if you just like you said, you're shaking your head. You're probably not. You must have a tiger by the tail almost here.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of cliches, tiger by the tail, lightning in a bottle, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that's how it feels for sure. So usually it's very difficult to pin down gold. You have to be very smart to do it. You have to be really clever. In this case, not to say that we're not smart and clever and using all the top science and the whole bit. We are doing those things and we continue to do that. That's actually kind of what sets us apart. But in this case, it's hard to miss it. So if I gave you, a 4-kilometer trend of basically mineralization, you could stick a hole anywhere along that trend and you're going to hit gold. So it's a great problem to have.
Yeah, I mean, investors ought to be delighted to hear that. So you're never short of news. What's kind of next on the front here?
We're fully funded for drilling now over the next number of months. So we've used a number of techniques recently, which are really good science. There's certain things we do that we never cut corners with. We do oriented drill core with every drill hole. We have done high resolution geophysics. Recently, we did geochemistry that actually highlighted this new zone, this Yoro zone that we drilled, showed up as a big soil geochemical target. So drilling into that, obviously, we were not disappointed at all. It's incredible. So, but there's other techniques that we're applying to the project over a bigger area, like over a full 20 kilometers of strike length. And the property has been consistently generating these really nice surprises for us, but we've only explored maybe 20% of the project so far. I mean, it's just really scratching the surface. So given that we have multiple high-grade 2 surface gold discoveries and we're only just really beginning the exploration process, I mean, at some point, every gold system has its limits. You drill holes and eventually you get to the outside of it, but we're nowhere near that with Great Bear now. So it's very much still an exploration discovery type company, but we have multiple drill rigs on it now, testing different targets, testing fleshing out, delineating the targets we already know about, and testing brand new areas. So it could be a lot of surprises in store still. So far, this project has surprised us at every single turn for the last 2 years. It's always generated new results that we were not expecting some of these, but they have definitely not disappointed at any step of the way.
Another solid piece of news here from a Quebec gold miner. That's Radisson Mining Resources. RDS in the venture, RM, RDF, OTC in the States, some solid gold intersects at O'Brien. I caught up with the Director of Corporate Development, Hubert Parent-Bouchard, ran through the highlights of the intersects and what this means moving forward.
Well, first of all, the 20,000-meter drill program that is ongoing is an exploration drill program. We published a new model back in March of 2019 with a new geological interpretation, and following this new interpretation, we moved on with a new resource estimate, which showed great upside both in grades and tons within the resource area. So the O'Brien deposit, we're now looking at almost 290,000 ounces indicated at a head grade of 9.48 grams per ton, and close to 150,000 ounces in the inferred category at 7.3 grams per ton. Following this, we closed a bought deal of $6 million with an investment from Mr. Rob McEwen. And the purpose of the drilling program underway, there's 3 main objectives. The first and most important objective is the validation of our new model. The second one is to expand and convert the resource within the footprint of the actual resource area. And the third one is to apply our model to basically on prospective areas over the property, which shows great exploration upside. And this intersection that we just published this week, 66 grams over 4.7 meters, is very important and a first good sign of validation for our model. because it was completed in vertical extension of the deepest portion of the resource, and probably where the bulk of the resource is, the zone 36E. So that was a pretty good step out, 300 meters below the deposit. The resource stands from surface down to 550 meters, and what we were targeting is basically the conjunction of different vein systems that cross themselves because they have different orientation, and that's usually where we see a blowout in grade when the system crosses. So the elevation of this drill hole is at 850 meters, which again is 300 meters below the resource area. So we are quite excited with this first result. More drilling is warranted, but it definitely shows very good potential for resource extension below the deposit.
Certainly appreciate that update, Hubert. What can we a little glimpse into the future? What's up next here for RDS?
The news flow is going to be very important in coming months. We should expect some results from the ongoing campaign every 3 or 4 weeks until the end of March at least.
And that's it for today's brief. If you're a fan of the information in the broadcast, please subscribe to the channel. Please like, follow, and share the broadcast. And if there's any news you think I missed or you'd like debriefed, please email the message to info@stockpulse.com. All right, back next week with more informative information you can utilize to enhance your portfolio.